Okay, picture this. A world totally hidden by mist, deep inside the ancient bamboo forests of Asia. And in that world, a silent, colossal figure is roaming around. A giant primate that was absolutely real. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of time and uncover its incredible story.
So let's just dive right into the big question, right? Was there a real-life King Kong? Well, the answer is kind of surprising. And you're not going to find it in a movie script, you're going to find it in the fossil record of a creature that actually walked this planet.
To find this thing, we've got to travel way back in time. And no, we're not going to Skull Island. We're heading to the dense, humid forests of Pleistocene Asia, somewhere between 2 million and 100,000 years ago. This was its kingdom. All right, so the king of this kingdom, it had a name that sounds just as epic as its size, Gigantopithecus. And let me be clear, this was, quite simply, the largest primate to have ever existed, period. But here's the crazy part. For a creature that massive, it left behind just the faintest of whispers. I mean, our entire understanding of this giant, it's all built on these incredibly limited, almost tantalizing clues. It's like a ghost story from the fossil record. And this is where the real scientific detective story begins. So what do paleontologists have to work with? Get this, thousands of teeth and a few massive jaw fragments. But that's it. Seriously, no skull, no arm bones, not a single complete skeleton. They have to reconstruct this absolute colossus from just bits and pieces. So you gotta wonder, right? How in the world do scientists take these few pieces of evidence and even begin to sketch a portrait of this incredible animal? I mean, how do you build a giant from just a tooth and a bit of jaw? Okay, so officially, Gigantopithecus is a genus of extinct ape. This isn't a myth, it's not a legend. It is a recognized part of our planet's fossil record. A true giant that actually shared the world with our own early ancestors. And when we say giant, we really mean it. Based on the size of those jawbones and teeth, scientists figure it stood nearly 3 meters. That's about 10 feet tall. Just stop and imagine looking up at a primate that tall. It's wild. And it had the weight to match, too. We're talking an estimated 500 kilograms, so well over 1,000 pounds. This wasn't just some lanky, tall ape. This thing was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the entire primate world. Yeah, to really put that into perspective for you, think about a big silverback gorilla. Gigantopithecus could have been more than twice its weight. And a modern human? We wouldn't even come close. This creature was just completely in a league of its own. You know, those thousands of fossil teeth, they tell us another really key part of the story: what it ate. The heavy wear and tear on its molars all point to a diet of really tough, fibrous plants. And what was all around it? Bamboo. So it was almost certainly a highly specialized vegetarian. But, of course, without a skeleton, one of the biggest debates is still raging. How did it move? Was it on all fours, like a gorilla, knuckle-walking through the forest? Or, and this is the big question, could a creature this massive have actually walked on 2 legs? We just don't know for sure. And honestly, that just adds to the whole mystery of it. So for millions of years, this specialist absolutely thrived. I mean, its huge size, its specific diet, it was all perfectly suited for its world. But the world itself was starting to change, and for the giant of the forest, the clock was officially ticking. And here's the really tragic irony in all of this. Its greatest evolutionary advantage, that sheer immense size, was about to become its fatal flaw. Because, well, being that huge meant it needed a truly incredible amount of food every single day just to survive. And this timeline, right here, it shows us exactly what went down. That stable, lush world that made Gigantopithecus possible, it started to disappear. The climate shifted. The endless bamboo forests began to shrink, and they were replaced by open grasslands, where its one special food source, it just couldn't grow. So this sets the stage for the final, tragic chapter. How does a 10-foot tall, 1,000-pound primate just vanish from the face of the earth? Well, the leading theory is that it was a tragic, slow-motion collapse. As the climate changed, its home disappeared. As the bamboo vanished, the giant just slowly starved. It was simply too big and way too specialized to adapt to a brand new world. It was a victim of its own success in a way, trapped by ecological change. So what about us? What about our ancestors? Well, early humans like Homo erectus were definitely in the area. They might have even seen these incredible giants. But, and this is important, there is absolutely zero evidence of any hunting or conflict. It seems this king wasn't brought down by humans at all, but by nature itself. Even though it's been gone for 100,000 years, the story of Gigantopithecus really isn't over. Not by a long shot. Its ghost kind of lingers, you know? Both in the big questions it still poses to science and in the stories we can't help but tell. And this is where we come full circle. Could it be? Could the distant, ancestral memory of this real-life giant be the spark that ignited all the myths and legends of giant apes we see in cultures all over the world? Look, it's impossible to prove, of course, but it's a pretty fascinating thought, isn't it? That the legend of King Kong might have a real prehistoric ancestor. Ultimately, the story of Gigantopithecus is just this powerful reminder. It tells us that our planet's past, man, it was home to creatures way more incredible than we can even imagine. Real wonders hidden in the deep mists of time. And it really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other giants are still out there, just waiting to be discovered?